fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up again. They got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up.
So literally today, we've seen the close, haven't we, on the weekly time frame? And what we've got right now is a nice macro signal that tells us, okay, you're in the early bullish stage for Bitcoin. Whether or not you create a double bottom or whatever, you know, it's telling us that right now that that particular data point is historically bullish. We always hold the low from which we've come. We've seen historically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data points in the entire history of Bitcoin that's told us at this point right now, you're in a bull market, you don't lose the low from which you've come, and it's Super Bull, basically. So we look at that one, it closed, I think it was around about 2011, 2015, created a nice little double bottom down there, 2019, I think it was, 2020, literally after the Corona dump, and just there, literally a month after, you know, the bottom that we put in late 2022 as well, we printed that signal. So historically, this is just a signal. And again, data point, I'm just relaying this to you. It doesn't guarantee that the bull market's going to start, obviously, because it's data, but it's data that we can't ignore, you know. And there was a data point that I've shown you way back when. If we take a look at the super charts, for anyone that remembers, for Bitcoin, you know, way back when, and XRP as well, I was showing you that basically, you know, for Bitcoin, if we look at the CoinsKid ribbon on the 5-day time frame right now, and look at, you know, the 5-day, we can clearly see there was a signal just there that I relayed to you that's a bearish signal, and again, a data point. And we looked back at the entire history of Bitcoin, and it printed something like 5 times and never failed to, you know, give us a capitulation event. So this is something I was relaying to you way back when. Hey guys, be careful. We've got a signal which is basically an impending crash, and we got that, and that's pure data. And this is the data that I'm relaying to you right now. At the moment, Bitcoin has absolutely melted through the CoinsKid ribbon on the 5-day time frame. And in my opinion, there is a bit of a pattern that's forming here. And I've been looking at this with the CoinsKid crew for a while. It's a potential cup and handle pattern, as well as a beautiful bump and run breakout. So we'll look at the charts of Bitcoin, and we'll dive into the XRP chart, because, you know, even XRP, if we take a look, the bull market start signal, XRP is doing it as well. Okay, so there's your bull market start. You've seen it just there in 2024, I think it was, in July, and we've seen it just there as well in September 2022. And right now we're doing exactly the same thing. So we've absolutely pushed up into the BMS for XRP and Bitcoin, and right now we're printing a bullish signal where the week that does that is basically an increase in volume. So it's really simple that you're seeing that demand step in from the buy side. So we're in the early bull stage for XRP as well. Okay, so let's dive into the charts and take a look at this big macro pattern that Bitcoin is potentially forming, and then we'll dive into XRP charts today. So way back in June and July, you know, I became quite bullish on Bitcoin, and regardless of another little dip or whatever, I was just accumulating it, and I've been relaying this to you because I'm seeing accumulation signals. In fact, way back there in February, I was buying as well, you know, because we saw a beautiful green dot on the Bitcoin accumulation band. Okay, so regardless of another little low or whatever, I did say to you, I think this trend is running out of steam, and I think we're in a bottoming process. And right now, it does look as though we're forming some kind of big cup and handle pattern. I did relay this way back in June to the CoinsKid crew. So I think that the crowd is absolutely convinced we see Bitcoin go lower now. I like to always think the opposite of the crowd. Possible selling climax in February. Now we see the spring and the Wyckoff accumulation. Imagine if BTC is just forming a giant bullish cup and handle pattern from the October 2025 all-time highs. I'll keep a close eye on this potential bullish reversal pattern for you. Invalidation is losing the arch of support. So we come down, we come down, we come down. In July, we had another retest of this low, put another little low in, and then right now we're coming up. So we need to look at this trend line. If we can hold this, this is a beautiful cup and handle pattern that comes up into the all-time high, creates some kind of handle, obviously resistance at all-time highs, and then breaks. And this could send us absolutely vertical for Bitcoin. Okay, so let's dive into the charts and see what we can see today. So this is the cup and handle pattern. I'll drop a hard link to it so you can keep an eye on this particular chart. And again, if you're on coinskid.com and you're in the super charts, if you do want to save a chart for later or share it with a friend, all you do is click share chart. That creates a link for you. It copies it to your clipboard or, you know, whatever, and you can paste it to a friend, and then you can share your chart that way, and they can come back and they can look at that. So I'll post that to the CoinsKid crew in the Discord, and obviously hard link in today's video for you, so you can keep an eye on this potential cup and handle pattern that's done something like this. This is your all-time high. You're coming down, you've got these beautiful touches of support, you trend back up, and you do something like that over a long period of time into this resistance, where eventually at all-time highs and resistance, you do create some kind of handle before continuation. So this, obviously, this support trend line right now, where you got a touch there, touch there, touch there, touch here, and a recent touch, you know, you want to see Bitcoin holding this, it comes back up. So this could potentially be the reversal pattern, a beautiful cup and handle pattern at the all-time high, and then a breakout. Where could we go from here? absolutely vertical towards 150k at least for Bitcoin. Okay, so I wish I'm going to look, and I'll post this particular chart in today's video for you to keep an eye on going forward. Just keep an eye on this neckline. If it starts to lose it in any point in the future, then obviously you're invalidating this beautiful curvature of a beautiful cup and handle on the macro time frame, which is a beautiful bullish reversal pattern at the all-time highs. Right now, there is a potential bump and run pattern for Bitcoin. I'll show you in today's video as well before we dive into the XRP chart. So at the moment, Bitcoin's looking pretty tasty. I think we're consolidating a range here, and then we go again for me for Bitcoin, because I think we're conforming to a bump and run pattern for Bitcoin. If we drop this trend line in from here all the way down, we're basically doing what we've done before off a bump and run. We had one, I think we traded it way back down here, didn't we? You know, basically you can always identify a bump and run by this. You see this big waterfall. That's the third wave. You come up in a 4 and you finish off in a 5th. Then you have a level of resistance, come back and break out. You know, and that's exactly what we're doing just there. You know, you've come down in a 1, 2, waterfall 3, come up in a 4, final 5th wave, into resistance, and then you break out. And this is where we find ourselves. And then initially on the breakout, you do find resistance at the sill, basically, the 1, 2. The first sill, you find resistance. That's exactly where we're finding resistance right now, consolidating a range. And that's exactly where we found resistance on this bump and run that we broke out in. I think it was around about 2023, wasn't it? And I remember trading this with you. So if you take a look at the first sill, you get your 1, 2, and that's exactly where you consolidate in a range. And then you broke through it. And what happens is, psychologically, you know, traders, they're going short at this point, creating shorts, anticipating something like that, and then, you know, putting the stops on that high, and look at that, it just melts through in a god candle. So this is what we could be looking at, some kind of continuation short squeeze, where at these lows, people going short, we consolidate in a range, people building shorts, stop loss pivot high, which is obviously human nature, and then we absolutely melt through that. So we could be on a cusp of a major parabolic move here for Bitcoin against all odds and expectations against the crowd, okay? Because something I've been looking at with yourselves for a very long time is the fact that I do think that this particular move up for Bitcoin, you know, basically finished just there, not there. And I think what we've done is a wave 1. So we've got some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a wave 1, and we've got an ABC wave 2. It's exactly the same as this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC wave 2. At the bottom, bump and run, breakout, third wave. So this is a wave 2 that's possibly completed, and this is the emergence of a third macro wave. This is very powerful for Bitcoin. You know, that's going to send it absolutely vertical. So I wish I had almost look, but I don't think, you know, altcoins are going to be left behind. I think there's going to be some kind of big influx of liquidity, and we're going to see that big move in altcoins as well. So at the moment, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I don't see any reason to be bearish. It's breaking out. Obviously, the invalidation, if you start to roll over here and you start coming to the support, you know, looking like you were there, in that breakout of a beautiful bump and run pattern. So that's a pattern, and right now there's confidence because you're finding resistance at that ledge, just like you found resistance at that ledge. And obviously, naturally, people start to build shorts, stop loss pivot high, build shorts, stop loss pivot high, short squeeze. See you later. Bitcoin's taken off into space. So this was a monster third wave, and I remember trading that with you. This is your 1, 2, 3. This is potentially a 1 ABC wave 2, and this is a third wave. Now, where's the confluence to that? It's in Solana, and I've shown you that. It's a beautiful chart. Let's take a look at the Solana chart right now before we dive into the XRP chart. So I've relayed to you before why I think Solana is one of those projects that, you know, you've definitely got to have some exposure to. But again, nothing I say is financial advice. You know, I remember Solana all the way down here, around about the 50-cent level, accumulating and buying it. And I remember when I started making video for you guys, you know, for anyone that's been with the channel for a very long time, we was looking at this beautiful horizontal, which is a continuation pattern, and then it broke and continued, and we were looking at roughly $200, and it got there. It was an amazing time. And obviously we entered that horrible bear market. It was nasty. You know, you got some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, 5-wave counter, but at this point you started to break bull. You came back into that god candle back test, got some bids filled, and then we broke bull. And ever since, we've come up in a 1, 2, breakout 3, sideways 4, final 5th, slam bang as your, you know, your dumb money indicator triggered, basically the retail top. Look at that little red sell dot just there as this blue line approached that red sell line. So at the moment, this has been trending up, and obviously Solana's trending down. So I think that Solana within itself, the most beautifulest chart in crypto, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've entered an ABC at the all-time high. Simple technical analysis. A possible wave 2, and the next wave is an expansion wave. It's a vertical wave, a discovery wave, which is a third wave, which is always, you know, what I look at to break resistance. So all-time high, you come down in your C wave of a bear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into resistance, retail top triggers wave 1, ABC wave 2, seeing bottom signals right now, potential 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, third wave loading, taking out the all-time, not all-time high, I do, obviously I apologize, not the all-time high, this level of resistance just there, this looks like it wants to go vertical, where eventually what you do, you get 1, 2, 3 points of resistance of a massive ascending triangle that compresses over a long period of time. Compression lead to expansion, break bull, and a discovery wave. 1, 2, 3, discovery wave. So, you know, Solana may have completed its bear market down here. Absolutely beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down of C. ABC, bottomed, 1, 2, 1, 2, set up, third wave, breaking out, resistance, key resistance. Okay, so Solana may be one of them coins that absolutely goes vertical again in the next bull market, where this wave up here is a discovery wave, where, you know, you've run into the same resistance and you break it on the third point of contact, which is amazing. We've traded many of these patterns over the years, but this is a massive macro pattern, an ascending triangle. So, you know, if we take a look from that high all the way down, you've retraced simply in a shallow retracement 382 so far. And if you take a look at this C wave equally for Solana, you know, you've broken out this resistance just there. Okay, so you've come up in a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup and you're breaking out a third wave. So all the characteristics of a confirmation of the bottom, but obviously this would be your bull market support around about $60.20 for Solana. If it does break down again and has a throwback back into this neckline, then obviously this is not the bottom. And then at that point, we can look at these lows there, 0.5 and the golden ratio. But I think we're seeing things from Solana right now. We're seeing the characteristics of a potential bottom, because if we take a look at Solana on the bull market support band, and again, with the BMS, it gives you basically detailed information in the bottom right corner. It tells you the current status of the price action on the macro. So at the moment, we're in that mild bull stage, and it tells you where your BMS bottom is and obviously your BMS top. So one of the key things we want to see, you see this level of resistance, the BMS top, around about 107.86. If we can begin to see closes above that, that really is increasing the probability that this is where you are, because obviously you're coming up into resistance, creating high-low structure. You get that close above the BMS, super bull. So we're looking at that. That's a key level of resistance, around about $107.86 for Solana. If we start to close above that, then what you've done, you've had an ABC at the all-time high, which is basically that, and a, you know, second point resistance, and you're looking to break on a third point resistance. I've been looking at this with you for a very long time. So, you know, you got this huge ascending triangle into the 382, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC wave 2 completed, 382. Correction, 1, 2, 1, 2 setup in the third wave, confirming the bull, just like you did here. Beautiful. You're getting into the BMS. Something you don't typically do in a nasty C wave is get into that BMS. It's only when you start to come up into it and close above, you super bull. So that is just simple data that I'm relaying to you. You know, so where does Solana go to in the next big bull market? I think it could easily get to around about $1,000, which would be absolutely amazing. I'll keep you updated as best I can, but you know, it's all about breaking this resistance up here around about 260. If we do start to see that broken, I think, you know, Solana will enter price discovery, and I'll keep you updated where, you know, resistance points are. So let's dive into the XRP chart right now, see what we can see. So it's literally a week ago I made a video for you saying, look, I think we've got a short squeeze here. I think we're going to pump. Okay, I should probably get it up and, you know, do some kind of big pump video. In fact, I'm going to do that. Yes, with volume into the, you know, the bull market support band, then, you know, look at this beautiful signal that we, you know, again, respect and look at on chain in the future. An amazing indicator created for the CoinsKid crew that uses on-chain analysis, not technical analysis, backed up into the charts on the super charts on CoinsKid.com. So if you take a look at the most recent one just there, beautiful, and we're seeing a nice little reaction. So, you know, whether or not the whales, the big boys are looking at this and buying it, you've got this high-low structure here for Bitcoin at the moment, so it's quite exciting. You're pushing into this range, possibly some kind of compression lead to expansion. Time will tell. But, you know, for me, regardless of trying to time the bottom, like I said to you, those that pick bottoms get smelly fingers. I'm just accumulating because I'm seeing all the data right now that's telling me to accumulate. And I'm just going to sell once I see that CoinsKid, you know, done with the indicator show up to the charts and tell us when to sell, which should, in theory, you know, next 2 to 3 years. So let's dive more into the XRP chart, see what we can see today. So if we pump from here, it would not surprise me for XRP. And this is why, you know, if you've been paying attention to videos, I'm not looking to go short in this particular range. I think the trend is run out of steam. You know, we're sort of forging some kind of curl here. If you take a look at the charts, you can clearly see there's some kind of curl that's happening, isn't there? You know, and what you've got is a 4-hourly time frame and lots of bullish divergence building up. So a lot of people are expecting us to nuke. I don't think we'll get that from this range. But again, nothing I say is financial advice. And just because I don't expect it doesn't mean it can't happen. But, you know, at the bottom and at the floor, we are starting to see nice little bullish data signals, macro accumulation signals fire off right now. Okay. So and right at this floor on the 4-hourly time frame, which is a really important time frame, we are beginning to see bullish divergence build up. So, you know, if XRP does begin to pump, where's it going to go to?
Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up.
So looking at XRP on the 4 hour, it's literally here that I made that video. And like I said, I don't think we're going to dump here. You know, I'm buying, I'm not crying. I think we're going to pump, and we've pumped, and it's been amazing. Initial resistance that it got kind of back test. Look at this. We've been looking at this double top drop for a very long time. As we've come down, I did say to you, I'm just buying here because I think we'll come up into that at least. Look at that. And this is exactly where it found a little bit of resistance, went sideways in a consolidation pattern, boom, broke out. And this is exactly what we're doing right now. We're going sideways in a consolidation pattern. So this particular leg of resistance that this got kind of back test where you went sideways is no different from going sideways at this BMS, the top right now, where currently you're mild bull. So I don't think that this move is done for XRP. I actually think we're looking at a continuation here where we could potentially get to this key level of resistance around about $1.80. And I've been looking at this for a very long time. See, they got kind of breakdown just there. As we were coming down, I said to you, I'm buying because I think we're going to come back into that eventually, and we're literally whiskers away from that. We got all the way around about 6%. So I think what we've got is really simple. A 1, 2, breakout 3, sideways where everyone gives up, and then we go again into that, which could, you know, create some kind of wave 2 correction that does something like this, back down into these lows to hold the support. So that's currently my primary outlook for XRP. Selling climax, boring accumulation, some kind of spring into key resistance, come back, coil up, and then break bull. So it's looking pretty tasty for XRP at this moment, okay? And I keep updated as best I can. I've dropped a link to the cup and handle pattern for you in today's video, okay? It'll be in the description to take a look at that. Come and join CoinsKid and get involved in the community. Take care, everyone. Back to an update in XRP. Bye-bye.